Hey, everybody. Before we get started today, I just want to humbly request that you go to the podcast provider, wherever you're listening to this podcast right now, go to the subscribe button, make sure you're already subscribed. And if you would be so kind as to leave a rating or a review, help spread the word about what we're trying to do on the Caught by Happy podcast. I would love to know your thoughts on the show. And hey, if you don't like it, you could always email me at caughtbyhappy@gmail.com. I'm open to any and all criticisms. It only helps me get better, all right? Let's start this show. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Caught by Happy podcast. Today, I'm doing something a little different. I'm not interviewing anyone. I'm not talking to anyone. Yes, I'm doing a solo episode. I've never done one. I never thought I would do one. I don't really enjoy talking about myself or how I'm feeling. I don't like exploring the things that go on inside my head. Just ask my wife. While she probably wouldn't say I'm devoid of any and all emotion, she instead would probably say that once the cork is removed, all those feelings, all those emotions and frustrations and flat out craziness just erupt in a volcano of anxiety and insomnia and incoherent babbling. I do a great job of not talking about stuff. I'm a man. That's what men do, right? We suck it up, we bottle it in, tie it down, wrap it up until it eventually pops, and then all bets are off. We explode on our kids because they forgot to put away their shoes. We crash dishes around the sink. We cut the grass with such angst, just mowing in the straightest and most focused lines, marching up and down the yard like a goddamn Roomba on Adderall. And we often drink in order to sleep, or we take some kind of pills, or we do something to just stop the weight of it all from crushing down into your brain, forever reminding you that you're out of toothpaste, or you forgot to feed the dog. You shouldn't have said that thing to that guy that one time at that job you had a decade ago. And you can't afford to send your kids to college. And although you know you need to cut the cable, you still haven't done it. And you should probably do it tomorrow, but you know they'll just talk you into another plan with more channels at a marginally better price. So there's a lot. There's a lot that goes on inside my head. And that's why I don't enjoy talking about it, because I physically can't talk about it. My brain thinks too fast for my mouth. I'm not a great speaker off the cuff. I have extreme difficulty finding the words in conversation. I'm a better writer than I am a speaker, that's for sure. But I always haven't been this way. I was a very extroverted young man, definitely comfortable in any situation. I had no problems engaging in conversations with people I didn't know. But I'm older now, and I'm not sure my brain is able to function like it used to. Maybe it's because of all the screens that have been directly in front of my face for the past 10 or 15 years. They've made me dumber. They've perhaps given me ADD or some kind of affliction that doesn't allow me to focus on what people are saying to me. I have way too many things happening in my mind at all times. I honestly feel like the dog being distracted by the squirrel, or I just stare at someone when they're talking to me, but I honestly have no idea what they're saying because I'm too busy thinking about the fact that I never emailed that lady who wanted me to shoot a video for her. So I should probably go do that right now, but I can't because this other person is telling me the story of how their uncle found a rare coin or something. I really don't know what they're saying because I'm not paying attention. The problem is I'm not as social or as engaging as I used to be. I know I come off as distracted to other people, or maybe I come off as self-centered because all I can focus on is what's going on with me. But I want to pay attention. I honestly do. I like hearing stories. I like remembering things, but I don't remember what people tell me anymore because I'm not able to fully hear it. My wife, God bless her, will attest to this. Remember, we have that thing tomorrow? What thing? Are you kidding me? I told you 3 times we're dropping the kids off at my parents' and we're going out with Frank and Jane. I don't know what you're talking about. I was going to watch the game. No, and you're supposed to pick up the kids from school today, so don't forget. And I will most likely forget and then have to be reminded. It sucks. But this whole thing is just part of the reason why I started this podcast. This podcast, as you know, is called Caught by Happy. And the name originally came from a LinkedIn post I wrote, or maybe it was like a blog post I wrote, about people who are constantly chasing happiness, or I should say chasing the things that they think will bring them happiness. But in the end, the newest iPhone or the gigantic truck or even the title that they've been after, the promotion, it all means shit in terms of their personal happiness. I know that true happiness and the sense of fulfillment comes from the pursuit of doing what you love. And I respect and admire those who have been able to follow their passions and get after what they truly enjoy doing. Recognizing what they're good at, recognizing their strengths, having a clear grasp of their talents and their motivations, I envy that. I envy them. Because once you start pursuing your dream and spending your days and nights doing whatever it is that you love, that's when happiness starts chasing you. You can't get away from it. I always struggled with finding what it is that I love to do. I remember being in fourth or fifth grade and we were talking about everyone having a talent. They were going around the room and each kid was saying what they're good at. I'm a good jump roper. I can throw a ball really far. I can draw. I can juggle. I don't remember what I said my talent was, but I do remember whatever I said was probably not true. I remember having a bit of anxiety about what I was going to say, and as it got closer to being my turn to answer, I mean, I never figured it out. I don't think I ever identified a true talent. There are things I enjoy doing, sure, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm talented at any of them. Part of that, much of that, might be because I lacked the motivation to pursue it. I used to be a fairly decent artist, but I never took it seriously. I never actually tried to make a piece of quote unquote art. I think I'm a fairly decent writer, but I never tried to write anything longer than a blog post or an article because I get distracted and bored with the topic. So it's difficult for me to invest fully in something like a short story or a longer series. So here I am. I'm over 40. I've been fortunate to have worked for a couple of really great places, some of them not so great. But I've been fortunate to identify things that I'm not good at. And I'm fortunate to identify some of the things that I am good at. And I am, again, in a period of transition where I have the opportunity to create my own path and my own happiness. However, when a family is involved, it makes the entire situation that much more dire. They count on me for, well, pretty much everything, right? I mean, food, support, stability, a calm and relaxing home environment, someone to make their lunches or cook them dinner, or just to be present and a full participant in the family. And when you're an already anxious person, like I am, throwing the weight of not knowing if you'll be able to pay the mortgage on top of it can really do a number on your already fragile emotional well-being. And I don't want to get too personal here. Out of respect for my wife and my family, I won't go into it too much. But my father-in-law is in the hospital again, battling leukemia. This is round 2. He had a bone marrow transplant and everything was good for a while. We thought we were in the clear, but it's back. And so he's back in the hospital. Just started chemo this week. Obviously, that is the most pressing thing on everyone's mind right now. And the most important thing for my wife and my family and my wife's sisters, my mother-in-law. So I don't want the topic of this episode to take away from the fact that the number one thing on my mind, all our minds, is a focus on getting him better and kicking this cancer's ass. I just wanted to give you a little peek into what's going on in my world. Just trying to give you some context around why I'm doing this podcast, why I want to continue it, and how I hope it will evolve. I'll be 100% honest here. I tell my clients, businesses or brands or small companies, that they need to put their audience first always in their communications. They need to create value for their audience. That should be their number one goal. Whatever they create, they need to do it with the audience in mind. But I started this podcast for me. It's for me. I don't know how many people are listening, but I'm talking to the people I'm talking to because they're inspiring me and they're giving me the push that I need to just keep grinding, keep building what I'm trying to build, help keep me focused, keep me grounded, give me some perspective, allow me to see the big, huge, grand picture. But I've also learned over the past few months of this show that I really enjoy doing this. I've been able to focus on having conversations with people again. I listen intently to what they say. I'm able to block out the other pressures and distracting thoughts for the hour or so that I sit down with them. And the editing, I mean, man, it's tedious and monotonous, but it's meditative for me. It's calming and it gives my brain something to occupy itself with. So I enjoy it. I really do. And so I have some goals in my mind. I probably need to write them down and put some concrete thoughts around them. But I've never been the type of person who does stuff like that. I'm not much of a structured planner in that way. But I want to continue doing stuff like this, being a digital creator, whether that means podcasts or videos, stuff like that. I also want to empower and help other digital creators make the content that they envision. Just create the best stuff that they can possibly create for themselves or for their audience. I've always enjoyed helping creative people achieve their vision. And I've worked with many amazing, talented creators, and I love watching their process, studying their process. And I just want to help. It can be difficult to put yourself out there. I know that. But if they just focus on what they want to create, I can help them get there. So I don't really know what that looks like yet for me. But I do know that my family also needs to eat, and I need to pay the water bill. So there's a balance between making smart decisions for the sake of survival and finding the time to pursue a passion project. But I can tell you one thing, I'm definitely going to continue scouting guests for the show because their stories are fueling me and reminding me that it's always worth it to go after your dreams. Some people have been through some real shit, but all of them have come through the other side stronger, more determined than ever, more driven than they even thought possible. So I'm grateful for these stories, and I hope they inspire other people, anybody who's listening, to maybe take a step out of their comfort zone and put some energy into a project or a hobby or an endeavor that brings a smile to their heart, so to speak. Designed to make good sleep accessible to all, the Allswell mattress features hybrid mattress technology combining the best of both worlds, memory foam and individually wrapped coils for a winning blend of comfort and support. Their goal was to create an affordable mattress without sacrificing quality or luxury, and the result? The Allswell mattress costs $345 for a queen. That's right, $345. What? And you can get one with free shipping, a 10-year limited warranty, 100-night risk-free trial, and financing as low as 0% APR. Follow the link in the show notes, and that'll let Allswell know we sent you and help support this show. I hope I was able to explain in my roundabout way why I'm doing this podcast. And my goals for the show are simply just to bring stories of people who are doing what they love to the forefront. I don't think we celebrate it enough. I don't think we celebrate a musician who spends every bit of her free time messing around with sound loops in her studio apartment. We celebrate the finished product, right? We celebrate the song, but we don't often acknowledge the process, those moments of skipping dinner because they've got to get the beat or the groove just right because their brain won't be able to shut itself off if they don't. We don't celebrate the scriptwriter, the inspirations for the ideas on the page, and the work that goes into editing it to be perfect. We celebrate the finished script. We don't celebrate the countless hours of screen tests or getting the lighting just right or spending hours on YouTube teaching yourself how to make a coffee table or how to fix a blown engine. We don't often celebrate or acknowledge the hard work, the trial and error, the failures that go into that amazing finished product. Yes, the failures and the hardships and all the times when you said, fuck it, I'm out. I can't continue. I want to quit. I suck. I'm not good at this. But you kept on. You found another way, you persevered, and you made it work. And those are the stories that we as a society, I think, need to hear more of. We live in a time, or we are a part of a generation, where some people just seem to think that things should just be given to them. They want to just reach the stage at the Grammys without having put in those long days and nights messing with beats in their bedroom. And sure, it's great to dream of that end goal and where you eventually want to be, but you gotta love and embrace what it takes to get there. You gotta be willing to make the sacrifices, to skip dinner, to not buy a new car. I have a desire to bring those stories of regular people who have done that or are currently doing that to this podcast because it motivates me and inspires me. And I just think that we all, as a community, will be better off celebrating not just the accomplishments, but the process as well. I have not done a good job in my own life finding a hobby or a project I wanted to put my whole heart into until recently. You can call it laziness, but I would probably describe it more of a lack of focus. I tend to, as I said before, have a lot of anxiety around consequences. For example, this episode right here, this podcast, everything I'm saying to you right now through this microphone, this could very well lead to a person not wanting to do business with me, to laugh at me, to make fun of me, not want to hang out with me, or not want to hire me. So I acknowledge that I'm sometimes paralyzed by those fears. But those fears are genuine. I need to get paid. I need to support my family. Why would I do something that could potentially put that in jeopardy? Hearing your stories help me find that balance. They also give me a little nudge, a little wink, if you will, a little encouragement like, hey, keep going, keep working at it. And I truly believe that although you, as a listener to this podcast, might not vibe with every single episode or every guest I have on or be able to identify 100% with their story, there might be some nuggets of wisdom and inspiration that you can pull out of there. Something that gives you the encouragement you need to go from I want to do this to I'm doing this. So that's me. That's my story. That's the story of the Caught by Happy podcast. Some of it, a little bit of it, kind of all over the place. Thanks for sticking with me. I would love to hear your feedback on this episode, or any episode for that matter. I'll probably never do a solo episode again. I'm already experiencing a ridiculous amount of anxiety over the thought of uploading and publishing this. So if you are in fact hearing this, just know that I struggled mightily with the decision to publish this. And I hope it works out. We'll see. Here goes nothing. I'm always open to being pitched. If you want to be a guest and share your story, I wholeheartedly encourage you to email me at caughtbyhappy@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at caughtbyhappy. And as I said in the beginning, if you wouldn't mind, like, share, subscribe, leave a rating, leave a review. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, I would love for you to help me spread the word about what we're trying to do here. I appreciate everyone's support through these 19 episodes, and I'm really looking forward to having a more amazing, inspirational set of guests that are coming on the show this spring. So just stay tuned. If I skip a week here or there, don't worry. As long as you have stories, I'll be here to help you tell them. caughtbyhappy@gmail.com. All right, goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. I truly appreciate your time and your attention. And make sure you get your masks. That coronavirus is some serious business, all right? We can add that to the list of things that keep me up at night. The Caught by Happy podcast is powered by Ring. Are you a podcaster or digital creator, or do you want to be? Join the Ring Media Network and let's create good stuff together.